Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here you can gain access to continuously updated documents like a sideboard guide, a primer on Legacy Doomsday, and gain access to the Neville Shoot Discord server. So come join the community at patreon.com/NevilleShootMTG. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video. And today I'm playing something that I have been aspiring to do so for a while, but I did not have the cards. This is Coveted Jewel Combo. So I'll just say a few words about why I wanted to play this, and then I will go through how the combo works and what the deck's all about. But basically, this is one of the most expensive decks to assemble on Magic Online. I think, anyways, I haven't really checked it, but this requires, and this is also true in paper actually, even more so, because we were playing a full 12 copies of cards that are on the reserve lists. Actually, no, that's not true. 16. I forgot City of Traders. So, like, this is quite remarkable. A deck in Legacy that plays 0 dual lands, but is like ridiculously expensive. Because you got the Grim Monoliths, 4 of those, 4 Transmute Artifact, also on the reserve list from Antiquities, 4 Copy Artifact, likewise on the reserve list, and then of course the City of Traders. And yeah, I finally got. I don't run a subscription, so and I'm not sponsored, so I'm just building my own collection. And I finally got the cards, so here we go. So what does this deck want to do? Well, it is an engine deck. It wants to resolve a Coveted Jewel. And this is just this kind of hokey combination of Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus. Like when it enters, you draw 3 cards, and then you can tap it to add 3 mana of any one color. It has a stipulation that is not irrelevant about if you are attacked and aren't able to block just one single creature, doesn't need to deal damage, then the attacker, the opponent controlling the creature that is attacking, gains control of Coveted Jewel, untaps it, draws 3 cards. So that is really bad. You don't want that. But basically, you resolve this, it draws you 3 cards, and then you tap it for 3 blue mana. And then we have 8 copy effects in Phyrexian Metamorph. You pay 2 life, and then the 3 mana you just tap with the Coveted Jewel, you get another Coveted Jewel. Draw 3 more, now you have 3 more mana. You have Copy Artifact, that nets you a mana because it's only 2. And then you also have Transmute Artifact. And this is a pseudo, well, it's a tutor, but it's also it's a pseudo copy. Because for 2 blue mana, you sacrifice an artifact, and then you get to tutor an artifact and put it into play. But only if the artifact you were putting into play costs less than or equal to the mana of the artifact you sacrificed. And if it doesn't, then you have to pay the difference, or it never comes into play. It's not like it comes into play and then it dies, unfortunately. But so that means if you pay 2 blue mana and you sack a Coveted Jewel, you have an artifact tutor worth of 6 mana. So you go get another Coveted Jewel. So Transmute Artifact also nets you a mana for blue. You get another jewel, but Transmute also lets you get Paradox Engine. And once you have Paradox Engine and you're able to put a spell in the stack, every artifact you control untaps. And then you just get, if you have like Grim Monoliths or all your jewels make 3 mana, and it's usually sort of just a breeze to win from there. Now, I found a list that Tony Scapone trophied with. No, maybe it wasn't a trophy. Maybe it was like a top 8 or top 16 finish at a challenge or something. But the latest list I was able to find, basically, and I've played it quite a bit in the practice queues, and I've made some small alterations. Tony was playing 2 copies of Born Upon a Wind in the main deck, and initially I wasn't really able to quite understand why we need this, and my best bet is that you want it in the cases where your opponent is able to, at instant speed, target your jewel and make it go away. So let's say you resolve a jewel, and then you want to go and play a copy artifact, and then the opponent or channels Poseiju, who endures, for instance, or has Force of Vigor. But it does then mean you need basically to cast this at the start of the chain, or at least before Coveted Jewel enters play, and you need 2 extra blue mana, or one in the blue, 2 extra mana. It's not impossible for this to work, but I haven't, it hasn't really come up in my testing yet. If any of you have a different take on why Born Upon Wind uh, gets us here, let me know. But what I moved these to the sideboard basically, and because I wanted to, the list I found didn't play any copy of Lotus Petal, and I really wanted some Lotus Petals for several reasons. First of all, we are a Show and Tell deck, so having like Ancient Tomb or City of Traders plus Lotus Petal plus Show and Tell is turn one Show and Tell, and that may or may not be good enough. Like if you have a Jewel and a copy effect, then I would want to make that play on turn one. Another space where Lotus Petal is really good is it's a 0 mana spell once you have Paradox Engine in play. It's come up for me several times where I'm able to basically, I have the choice between copying, copying my Jewel with Metamorph or playing Paradox Engine. And if I copy my Jewel with Metamorph, there's a chance I get to enough mana to eventually cast Paradox Engine. But just like casting Paradox Engine first and then untapping it with the Lotus Petal, untapping the Grim Monolith and the Jewel that you have in play is just really, really sweet. Okay, so my expectations for this deck, first of all, it is I think a lot more complicated than it may look, or maybe it looks complicated. I expect to make misplays and bad decisions and miss things as well, like miss winning lines, because it's not always apparent. And this deck I have found can really power through some pretty sweet, or pretty hard and tricky places. Initially, I thought Orcish Bowmasters was going to be a problem for this deck, but because of the 4 Phyrexian Metamorphs, you basically just have to look at like your Jewels drawing cards, and with them having a Bowmaster in play, as basically it's Necropotence, and like 1 life for 1 card has pretty much always been to the person drawing the card's favor. And eventually you'll find a Metamorph, and you just play the Metamorph and kill their Bowmasters, like copy the Bowmasters. Um, and then the sideboard is, we have the 4 defense grid. This is, in my opinion, a pretty clean swap for Force of Will in a lot of blue matchups. I think Force of Will in this deck is mostly there to not lose to stuff in game one, and then if you're against combo, you want more copy of Force. But versus tempo, you basically don't want a 2-for-1 yourself. You don't really care about most of the things they are casting, except for like, I guess, Null Rod. And instead, you want the 4 defense grid, which is something they really, really have to deal with. And then we have 4 Lodestone Golem. These are obviously pretty nuts versus spell-based combo, but they're pretty handy in a lot of matchups, and also gives you like a pseudo like pivot plan almost. And let me tell you, when you have Lodestone Golem and you have Copy Artifact and Phyrexian Metamorph, you can make spells cost a lot of mana, non-artifact spells that is. Chaos Defiler is also a pretty sweet one. You transmute for this, and it basically it abrupt decays. No, that's not the correct. It's not Vindicate, because Vindicate can target lands, but that's kind of what I want to go at. It basically nukes one of your opponent's non-land permanents, and you can copy it and get more triggers like that, and then it's a 5/4 trample. It sort of just takes over the game. It also, if you transmute it away, you basically get to, because it triggers when it exits as well, when it dies. So that's pretty sweet. But okay, I think that's enough in terms of deck tech. Let's go. Okay, we are on the draw for round number 1, and this is a pretty good hand. This is turn 2, the One Ring, or turn 3. No, it's actually turn 2, Coveted Jewel if we want to, but let's see if we do want that. Kind of wish I had a blue card to pair with my Force of Will, but yeah, let's see how we do. Opponent seems to be thinking long and hard, and they do decide to Force of Will Micro Monolith pitching Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay. I mean that if especially if they have Wasteland, that was really good. But this means we go from a turn 2 play to a turn 3. Oh, never mind. We can just play the One Ring here if we want to. That plays into Daze. Do I want to play into Daze? Next turn I will have 7 mana to try and resolve Jewel. Thunder Trap Trainer. So what deck is this? Wizards. Would they play Daze? They probably would. I think I will pass here. Playing scared, I guess. They didn't fetch a Surveil land. That's interesting. No fetch land. Or Wasteland, rather. So that's good. Blue card? Not a blue card. A lot of mana, though. So I think I will go for One Ring here. They have second Force of Will pitched to Fairy. Okay. So now I'm really hoping to draw a blue card for my Force, and then the Jewel can win me the game next turn. Would really, really be quite upsetting if they have something like Narset here. Okay, they're passing 3 cards in hand. I'm guessing they have more counter spells then. Okay, never mind. Maybe they're making a move here. Fetching. Maybe really representing the counter spell. Oh, come on. Not a blue card? This deck plays like 26 blue cards, I think. I think I will just pass here. Because I am truly out of gas if they do have another counterspell, and it seems just so unlikely that I wouldn't find one here at the end of the game. This is Flame of Arnor. They draw 2. That's pretty nice. Okay. Prismatic Ending. So I could bounce this. Question is, does it matter? I pay 2 life to bounce this, and then next turn I replay it, and I basically have 1 more mana than I would have. Let's see here. Next turn I would have 5, 6, 7 mana rather than 6. So I would have 1 more mana. Is basically what this comes down to. Now I think I'm going to let them have it. Like, I don't think they have Daze. I could be wrong, but okay, there we go. There's a blue card. Alright, so I'm going to float here. And they aren't representing creatures here. The Snapcaster Mage is certainly a card in their deck, but that just means we can potentially get away with passing the turn here. Okay, Jewel is in. I like that. We draw 3 lands. Holy cannoli. Tell you what, I'm gonna pass. If they have Snapcaster here, I will have to force it. Okay, they don't. Like, Teferi bouncing this, still means I get to play it next turn. Okay, Ponder. They aren't going to be able to Prismatic Ending this. That's just not, like, possible. Back to basics here would be kind of rough. Magus of the Moon. Oh, that's fine. We have... This makes us all the blue mana we could want. There's a copy artifact. Okay. So, let's start the fun. Copy the Jewel. And I guess we can play out a Grim Monolith here. And let's cast a Phyrexian Metamorph. Copy the Jewel. Okay. So let's go blue, blue, 3. And then we will transmute. We'll sacrifice a Jewel. We'll get Paradox Engine. And now we will just draw our whole deck. Yeah. I've this line has happened sort of quite a few times for me, or this type of line, and I keep thinking, like, what what stops me here, like what kills me would be if Emrakul is like in like the last couple of cards in the deck. Basically, if it's the last card and your number of cards in deck are at an unfortunate sum that doesn't let you draw on 3s or whatever, or with the ring. Because other than that, like, you can loop Emrakuls. You can basically cast Emrakul, as we just saw here, we would have like more than enough mana. You cast Emrakul, and then you eventually you make a Phyrexian Metamorph and copy the Emrakul and keep the copy, because then your original Emrakul goes into the graveyard, triggers, shuffles, all that stuff. So you can just keep doing it. All right. Well, Control A. So I think we want defense grids here and Chaos Defiler. Not sure we want Lodestone Golems because they likely, or they may keep in some number of removal spells. And on the draw, I'm not sure I love it, but and also they have so many land drops. You'd need 2 Lodestones to really start like causing problems for them. And then the question is, do I like I'm not it's not as clear cut for me as it is versus Tempo Decks if I want to just cut all my forces here. Because they do play Hate Bears, most likely. But maybe we're just supposed to ignore those when we can. We have the Chaos Defiler to transmute for if that ever comes up. And we have 3 lands that can also be as like bounce spells. So I'm gonna like cut the 4 forces, and maybe I cut a Lotus Petal and just try to not be as explosive here. Now let's try this. I'll keep this. We can go turn 2 stock up. That's pretty good. We also have to be mindful of their back to basics. Speaking of which, the problem is if I go for Island then Ancient Tomb first to stock up, then this Surprise and Scary doesn't make mana until turn 4. But if I use it ahead of time, then it loses a counter. I still think I'll get it going here. I think there's a lot of upside to having that extra mana. Here comes Tamiyo. So maybe I am supposed to hold off on this stock up. Like if they have a Pyroblast, then it's a pretty easy Pyroblast target, but they might be sitting on like forces and consignment memories. Yeah, I think I will actually try for the... Oh, hang on, no. So I have 7 cards in hand. Yeah, no, I'm going to wait a turn. I'm not going to be able to do anything with my mana here or with the cards I draw. So I'd most likely be going to discard to hand size. Also, like next turn, we might be able to get something like Defense Grid if we draw it, or I don't know. Also, like just going long versus this deck seems a little bit risky from the opponent's side of things. Well, let's try a stock up. It probably eats a Pyroblast here, but nope, it did not. Oh, okay. Defense Grid. How do I like just double Defense Grid? I think I like it a lot. So I'm going to try a Defense Grid here. That probably gets consigned, or I'm sure it will be countered somehow. Okay, so it's like Force of Negation maybe? Consign a memory with Replicate, okay. Okay, so we pass. So next turn we'll have 6 mana. So we could like cast Grid. If it resolves, we can copy Grid. And then everything is a question of mana at that point. I do expect them to have more interaction though, so let's see if they want to try and flip. Oh, no, they just want a Thunder Trap Train here. They could have flipped the Tamiyo. Okay, here's a Brainstorm. Grim Monolith, that's also pretty good. What do I want to bait with here? The problem with Grid is it also just gets exiled by Prismatic Ending. Let's make a land drop. And I think we try the Grid. Okay, so they're brainstorming. Maybe that means that they don't have a good way to interact with it, or maybe it just means they want to, look at their options before choosing what Force of Will. Okay, so Tamiyo flips disadvantageously for the opponent. Okay, Force of Will, pitching Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay, so let's have a look here. We can go Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith makes 5 mana with Surprise and Scary, -2 to copy Grim Monolith, and then we have 6 mana for Jewel plus 2 copy effects. I think I like that. Let's try this. Did we run the opponent out of resources here? Mindbreak Trap could be a thing. Another consign could counter this trigger. They don't have it. Okay, let's get some copy in. That's good. We are netting mana right now, but not by a lot. Copy this. Okay, and we draw the Paradox Engine. That's not ideal. What do I want to do here? Maybe like getting to show and tell is something I'd be interested in. Like right now, I have 2 copy effects in my hand. I have one Phyrexian Metamorph and one Transmute artifact that gets a Jewel. I have 5 mana. If I had a Lotus Petal, then it would all be honky-dory here. I could use the Metamorph to counter or to copy this trainer to like chump to have a chump blocker to not lose all my things, but if they can remove it, then it's a bit too bad. I think I'm gonna Metamorph. Pay 2 life. The mana is so much more precious here. Copy Jewel. Can I draw Lotus Petal? No, but I draw more copy effects. And now, let's see. So if I go 2 mana, get a Jewel, that's 6 mana. Then I go copy it with copy artifact. Then that's 7 mana. And then I can cast the Paradox Engine and then have a 2 mana spell ready, and that's the defense grid. Yeah, that works. So what was that plan again? So copy artifact. I guess Pyroblast is something they could have here, but it doesn't look like it. What did I draw? Maybe I just draw the Lotus Petal and all of it is sort of moot here. Okay. So 6 mana, transmute. And let me just make sure I'm not like sitting on all my jewels. 1, 2 jewels. 3. So there's 1 jewel left in my deck. So let's get that and get the jewel. We draw. There's show and tell, but there's no reason to risk that now. Okay, let's cast Paradox Engine. This is quite pivotal. Like, this needs to resolve. But I'm pretty sure if they had some way to counter stuff here, they would have done so. Okay, let's cast this defense grid. Everything on taps. Sweet. And we win the match, yeah. They tapped out. Sweet, off to winning start. Okay, on the draw for round number 2. Yep, this is a pretty interesting hand. We can go for a turn 2 Jewel here, I think. If we go Grim Monolith, then on turn 2 we have 5 mana. We spend 3 of those. No, that's mana neutral. We still need to hit another land drop for that to work. Show and tell is pretty decent as a backup here. Let's see if Grim Monolith gets in. It does, sweet. Now we're choked on blue mana though. Wasteland is definitely a problem for this deck. Okay, so this is now I'm worried about casting Show and Tell because they are a Thundering Falls deck that had no turn 1 play. Thundering Falls is mostly in tempo or sneak and show decks, and they're passing. Okay. Land? No, but that's also pretty good. Seeing as we couldn't draw a land, then I will certainly accept a 1 ring. Tapping out our Monolith, is not ideal, but we do have the backdoor Show and Tell for Jewel. Okay, that got them to concede. That's bold. They had 6 cards in hand. I wonder what that's about. And we don't know if this is a tempo deck or a Show and Tell deck. So I do actually feel like boarding in, maybe not the defense grids. Like if it is Sneak and Show, I think I want to be able to interact with them. But I do want like Lodestone Golem here. The only question is, what do I cut? Maybe I'll cut a Petal and Because you really don't want to be cutting your lands, the bounce lands, because this is a pretty like um, land low deck to begin with. If this is show and tell, we probably don't really want to be show and telling. I think I'm gonna try as though this is show and tell and be ready to feel sad. I'm gonna board in 4 Lodestone Golems and a Force of Negation. I will try and keep this grotesque looking hand. They're passing? Was that a misclick? Yeah, okay, it was a misclick. It's almost tempting to play the island here, but I think I will try to beeline for my artifacts here. If they daze this, or they force will, interesting. Pitching Tameo, okay, that doesn't really give that much away. Sneak and Show can play Tameo, but maybe it's some sort of like the Wizards deck or something like we just saw. What deck would just completely fold to a turn 2 the One Ring with 6 cards in hand? Okay, they have Wasteland. So that probably means no show and tell, which also then means we kind of did it wrong. I think I will take a turn off here because I drew the stock up. So next turn I can choose between stock up and developing my Grim Monolith. We'll see. No fetch to Surveil. We know they're playing Thundering Falls. Maybe it's in their hand. Just land, go. Okay. There's my Emrakul with my no show and tells in the deck. Let's see. I think I'm gonna try and stock up here. They are down to 4 cards. Like a Pyroblast here would be pretty good for them. Clean 1/1, and I'm sort of trading negatively on mana. Okay, they're casting Brainstorm. Force of Will, Pitch Ponder. Okay, they're down to 2 cards. Now there's a Thundering Falls. Okay, so this is just like blue-red tempo. Wasteland is my biggest concern here. Get out of here. And looks like they have a 6/6 Murktide Regent for us. Now my Lodestone Golem's not looking that amazing. Metamorph. So this is a 6/6. So I play my Golem. They attack me down to 14. I untap. I attack them down to 11. I make another Lodestone. But it is a pretty, like, it's a losing proposition if they have, like, Lightning Bolt or another threat. Or, like, if their last card is Daze, of course, then it's a disaster. But, this is sort of where the hand is taking us, so, and the game is taking us, so I'm going to try this. Okay. We have to fade them drawing some stuff here. Like, I really hope their hand is, like, cantrips. That would be ideal. Land. That's not so good for my Lodestone plan here. I would like to draw land though. Force of Negation, huh? Okay, let's attack. So let's see, how does this race turn out? They're at 11. I go down to 12 from casting the Metamorph. Then I'm dead. I'm not dead, but then I'm losing the race. I'm at 12. They take me down to 6. I attack. I take them down to 1. And then I need something like the One Ring or something else to save me. I could also take my medicine here and then attack next turn. If they don't make a threat, they're at 6. And then I metamorph, copying their Murktide. I don't believe the counters are copied, so it will be a 3/3. Yeah, maybe I'm better off doing that. Maybe I was supposed to do it now then, actually, come to think of it. We take our medicine, we're down to 8 now. We haven't paid the Phyrexian Life yet. I guess if we just gave them a chance to draw Wasteland. Transmute Artifact, that doesn't help us right now. Let's attack. Oh man, this is not very good. If we draw blue mana, we could get to potentially Chaos Defiler, but yeah. Lots of ifs and buts. Let's try this Metamorph. Yeah, they have Force of Will. Okay, and we're dead then. All right, so now we know what we're up against. we can board correctly. Oh, I didn't even board in the Chaos Defiler. Let's bring back, or let's put in the defense grids. Let's board out Force of Will and Force of Negation. Where are you? There you are. And then it's the question, do I want Show and Tell or do I want Lodestone Golem? I think I want Lodestone Golem. Show and Tell is also pretty sweet, but they are a Pyroblast deck. And now we're on the play. I think the Golems are better. Let's choose to be on the play. And, I will keep this. This is, like, we just get completely annihilated by a Wasteland. But, if we don't get Wastelanded, then this hand, I like it a lot because we have the potentially turn 2. Like, any land that enters play untapped gives us turn 2 One Ring here if we don't get Wastelanded. While opponent is mulliganing to 6. And if we don't find the land, we have the second play of just making second grid here. Okay, here's defense grid. Okay, they force pitching counterbalance. I will pass and cross my fingers not to get wastelanded. Okay, that's not a wasteland. DRC, 3 cards in hand. Land? Not a land. Okay, that's not good, but the second grid is still has me pretty excited. Dazing here, I could see that. I would do that if I was them. Second force, okay. They get a surveil and a card. Oh my god, please don't be wasteland. The fact that they kept a card on top is just unpleasant regardless because, now I have no way to protect myself anymore. So I'm guessing it's either a wasteland or a piece of disruption, but yeah, we'll see. It's not wasteland. Ancient Tomb. Love that. Love, love, love that. We are going to be pressured on life, but this probably consign. Yep. Okay. Put a card in your graveyard. Yes. Okay. They put days in the graveyard. Okay. So they are way off having, what do you call it? Delirium. So if we can dodge the wasteland here and maybe dodge lightning bolt, then what's this? Ponder? It's what, blue X spell? The mana pool is emptying like it's an X spell. Is this Meltdown? Yeah. Alright, I totally get that. I would also melt down 1-for-1 trade this pedal. This matchup is coming down to the wire on super short margins, so I like that play from the opponent. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough to get out of this, but we'll see. I'll be at 10 now, and then 6 after tapping these 2 Ancient Tombs. Maybe City of Traders is secretly my best draw here. I'm going to go ahead and assume my opponent's last card doesn't do anything here. I'm just going to play like that anyways. We can't do anything about it. Another Ancient Tomb. Okay, let's just see here. I think I will just play this. I guess no, if I draw Suppress and Scary, I'm going to play they don't have days as their last card. And if they do, then I got outplayed. Okay, that's in. Let's draw a card. Okay, I'm going to play this tapped. And then I will untap at 5 life with 2 Ancient Tombs in play. Basically means I wouldn't be able to use the last one anyways. So depending on what is in my opponent's hand, there's a chance we steal this, but there's a lot they could have. There's also already been a lot that they already had, so I don't feel like it's completely unreasonable for me to expect them to not have anything here. Okay, Golem not really good anymore. Okay, so this is tough. So I can pay 3 life to zap this in. That doesn't seem ideal. Oh god, so close. So if I pay 3. Then I have 2 blue mana. I'm at 2 life, so I can't tap the Ancient Tombs anymore. Then I could transmute Artifact, looking for the One Ring, but it wouldn't be cast, so that's no good. Oh man, this is really tough. So let's see here. I am at 4 life and then take 2 more, so I am at 2 life as we're sitting. That is assuming the opponent can't get to Delirium, but like if they have Lightning Bolt, then it like nothing matters. So I could just make the hero play here, play Soporific Springs, tapped and pass. Yeah, yeah. I think that's gonna be my line here. I will choose not to pay life. We pass. I'm pretty sure I'm dead here. It would make sense for them to have Lightning Bolt, and we are also now just giving them more turns to draw counter spells. And our Ancient Tombs are just laughing at us. Looks like Bolt coming. Yep. All right. GG's opponent off to round number 3. Yeah, that was awkward. Okay, we're on the draw for round number 2 or 3 rather. I will keep this hand. We had the choice of going slow with like starting on Island and then having stock up on turn 2. Another Volcanic Island deck. How about that? Or we have turn 3 or turn 2 Coveted Jewel. I think I like the going slow bit here, especially as we weren't presented with a threat on turn 1 by our opponent. It is the blue-red tempo deck again. That is like what I thought would probably be the hardest deck to play against. I think I will cast my Monolith here because what I don't want to do here is I don't want to stock up, have it get dazed, and to get my City of Traders wasted. Now we can show and tell, and we have on the face of it 2 copy effects. I think I actually like that. Really hoping to not get like spell pierced here or something. Okay, brainstorm, sure. Did you find Force of Will? You did not. Okay, here's Coveted Jewel. Shield to that. Yeah, love that. Let me just see here. I transmute once, that nets some mana, then I can transmute at a later point for the Paradox engine. If I hit a copy artifact, then I can do it now. I hit another transmute. Okay, let me just see here. So 2 mana, 2 blue mana, I transmute the jewel away and get... I think I have to copy jewel once before then just to have a jewel. Oh, I should have tapped the colorless mana. Okay, so now we know what we're up against from the get-go here. I like Chaos Defiler as an answer to Null Rod. I want the defense grids. Maybe the Lowstone Golems are just not good enough here. I'm going to try and board out the Force of Wills. And then I think I will board out what is the last cut? I don't want any of my copy effects to leave. Maybe it's a show and tell. Like show and telling against like a Null Rod deck is a little bit scary. I also like Petal to play around. Is exactly like here to play around days when you have like a turn 1 play off of a soul land like a Defense Grid or a Grim Monolith. This hand is missing the payoff, but we are like I do kind of like how it's set up to play. Second grid, do not hate that. Maybe if I lead on City and they have Wasteland, then I'd much rather I have led on City, but if they don't have it, then I'm kind of stuck on my City. So I'm gonna go with the Ancient Tomb here. Blue mana, consign, yep. No Wasteland. Ponder, sure. Ponder, no shuffle. Yeah, let's try Defense Grid again. Force of Will, pitch, ponder, sure. And they're passing the One Ring. Guess I'll try that. Force of Will. Well, they are doing a good job at answering all of my threats, but at a 2-for-1 rate though, so sink into stupor. I think I'll sit on that. There's a bauble, sure. Firing it off immediately. Wasteland. Yeah, that makes sense, taking me off. Okay, and here comes Murktide. Okay, so if I can find something to show in off of Show and Tell, then that's probably on my route to victory here. Like a Coveted Jewel. Grim Monolith. I won't complain about that. Alright. So let's see here. I have 6 mana, 7 with the Sulfurific Springs. So I could transmute Artifact here. So that's 7 into their 2 cards in hand. Okay. Oh no! Oh, I'm such an idiot. God damn it. Yeah, that was just I should have played my Sulfurific Springs. Now I don't have 2 blue mana. Okay, well, misplay happens, and now I'm dead if they can get to Delirium, or if they have Lightning Bolt. They have Wasteland. Yeah, now I'm dead anyways because I will have to. I guess I'll wait. Like I can top deck a Jewel, and then still have Show and Tell here, but I can't. I can no longer shock this into play. Copy Artifact. Okay, no good. All right. I think I still pretty much like this, so I'm just gonna resubmit. Yeah, that was just really not good. I could have transmuted for the Defiler as well. Oh, I have to mulligan this. Can't keep a one lander with basic island being it. This seems more like it. Yeah, let's keep this. So this is a turn 1, the One Ring, and we can follow it up with a turn 2, the One Ring. So I think I like that. Let's get rid of the Jewel. I mean, obviously this is also a turn 2 Jewel if the opponent has nothing, but okay, Ring is in. Let's draw a card. We pass. Okay, Null Rod, pretty much the most scary thing our opponent can show us. Let's draw cards. Yeah, let's City of Traders and play Grim Monolith. Okay, we pass. Maybe I was supposed to play the island there. I think this sort of makes me stumble on the next couple of turns with my mana because I really want to get to 2 blue. Let's see if they just tap out for the Null Rod here if they have it. No, okay, sweet. Okay, let's draw 3 cards. I think it's time to let go of this City of Traders. And I think I'll cast a Grim Monolith for the rest of this mana. And then I think I will try actually and pay some life here. This is going to take me down. Oops. Yeah, no, this works. I'm going to try and copy my One Ring. This is Pyroblast. Alright, I will pass here. Next turn I will have 3, 4, 7, 10 mana. So I can do different things here. I'm kind of banking on them not being able to just flat out kill me here. Stock up rather than wastelanding me. That's interesting. I think that means they might be out of interaction and looking to load up on it. I think Defense Grid is my best draw here. Let's draw 4 cards though. A lot of options here. A lot of options. Alright, I think I am going to try and play the One Ring. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, they force that. That's fine. I'm sort of hoping here that they don't have more Force of Wills or Force of Negations. Let's try some blue mana here and cast Transmute Artifact. Okay, and we get rid of our ring. And we can get Chaos Defiler here, or we can just get, like, they let this resolve. This means this probably means they can't answer it, right? So I think I'm gonna just get Jewel here, and I will pay the difference. Okay, so We have no copy effect, but we do have another transmute, but that means we have to play the... No, it doesn't mean we have to play island. Never mind. Let me see here. I could also cast the... I could cast the Paradox Engine and then play my City of Traders. Yeah, I think I like that. And then we have so much mana, it doesn't matter. I guess, no, hang on. I'm going to play the Grim Monoliths first. So there's a pause here, which confuses me. It makes me think maybe they didn't realize Transmute Artifact got Coveted Jewel and they're sitting on a counterspell here, which is a little bit concerning. Okay, no, that's in. So what happens if I cast Defense Grid first? Right now I have 7 mana. So I could cast Defense Grid. No, I'm gonna bank on them not having messed that up and just, I don't know, like showboating here. But this will be a dagger right to the heart if they have a counterspell. All right, and that drew the concession. Sweet ass. Let's go for round number. All right, on the play here for round number 4. I think I will keep this and turn 1 stock up. It's not amazing, but if we can find like another land and like a Grim Monolith or a show and tell, then we're sort of off to the races. Well, potentially. Our opponent might have something to say about that. Meanwhile, the opponent is mulliganing to 5. So if this is like oops all spells or something, then stocking up, looking for Force of Will might also be something we should do. Alright, opponent found 5 they like. Let's play Lotus Petal, and our opponent will breathe a huge sigh of relief, likely, that this isn't show and tell. Okay, Force of Will and show and tell. Gonna go for those. And I will play out my Petal. We really don't want to show or Force of Will here, because we want the copy artifact as a way to continue the chain here. Oh, looks like it is oops. Oops all poops. Okay, they had no turn 1 play. That's good. I think we go for it. And there's a non-zero chance, like if they have the Balustrade Spy or whichever one it is where you tap mana to activate it, then we are forced to win this turn. But I like this. It's a little risky, but I do like it. All right, let's put in Jewel, and this lets them trigger themselves, but then I think we just need enough forces, and then they can't win on their upkeep. Like we'll just have to Force of Will the where is it? Just make sure. Yeah, the Memory's Journey. It's right there. I'm just gonna go and have a look here. 1 pact, 2 pact, 3 pact, 4 pacts. So no pact negation. So I think we don't need to do anything else here. So 1 Spirit Guide, 2, 3. So they have 1 Elvish Spirit Guide in their hand. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna attempt to flashback. What do you call it? Flashback the Memory's Journey. Where is that? It's here. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm still going to just try and win here because, or at least get some more Force of Wills in case somehow there's something I'm not thinking about. Plus, you know, it's fun to combo. Oh, they're casting the Memory's Journey now. That's clever. Before I draw 3. Well, in that case, I think I will just Force of Will here. And this should get the concession out of them. It doesn't. Okay. Well, I mean, I think I will just keep going. But I don't see how they're not losing now. I guess we can try and find two blue cards for Force of Will, and then we pass. And we got there. Okay, I'm just going to pass now. Alright, let's get rid of a land. We pass, and they lose. Alright, sweet. We don't have any graveyard hate in the deck, but we do have Force of Negation, which is very medium versus them. Consign of Memory is also, like, it's okay, but it's not amazing. So let's board in those cards, and now I have to find 8 things to board out, which I think is tricky. And I am gonna, I think, board out Show and Tells. I'm maybe interested in boarding out something like the One Ring as well. Yeah, let's do that. That seems just a little bit on the slow side. Their combo isn't stopped by the One Ring at all, like by the One Ring trigger, I mean. I guess if they were playing, what's its face? Never mind. Yeah, no, Goblin Charbelcher. I'm going to keep this hand. Meanwhile, they mulligan to 6. Tap land, okay. So here, I will play the Soporific Springs and Lightning Bolt myself. Kind of letting them know what I'm up to here, but I do want to be able to both Force of Will and Consign of Memory, and they're just passing, okay. I think it is maybe Grim Monolith time? No, I'm going to play the Suppress and Scary and pass. Man, they're just passing, okay. Second Force, I am not going to poo-poo that. Play City of Traders, cast Grim Monolith. I could copy Artifact the Grim Monolith. How much then I have? 1, 3, 5, 8, 11. No. Well, maybe. Maybe what I'm not. This is where experience comes in. I had the transmute line right there. Could transmute away the Grim Monolith. I would have 6 mana, pay, and then that would give me Jewel with like lots of copy effects. But looks like I'm not gonna get punished here. Maybe they have Reanimate in their hand, and their plan is to, yeah, Memory's Journey. Maybe not. But okay. So let's tap some mana, and like so, and we transmuting away the Grim Monolith. Transmute Artifact. I really like. I'm really upset that they're so expensive because I don't own any, but I am so happy that this card is actually seeing competitive play in Legacy. Let's get Coveted Jewel. We have to pay 4 mana. We oblige, and we have mucho copy here. Get the Jewel. Lodestone Golem. That might be fun. We can keep going here for a little bit. Let's copy the Jewel. Another Consign. Maybe we make the land drop here, and we... I think I'm just going to stop here, actually, and then I'm going to just cast Lodestone Golem and make them have to beat double force through a Lodestone Golem. And pass. We'll discard some stuff here. And they're passing. I wonder what they kept over there that just does this. Discarding Undercity Informer. Okay. Okay, let's attack. And I'm just going to take it easy here. I could go off again here and probably just win. But instead, I'm going to sack my Coveted Jewel and get a second Lodestone Golem. And just watch them choke on that. Now, Spirit Guides do get around Lodestone Golem, but I still feel like it would be a very, very tall order for them to beat this. So they are trying to exile Spirit Guides here. All right, seemed like they found their combination of Spirit Guides and whatnot. Goblin Charbelcher. I'm gonna have to say no to that. Actually, no need to pay life here. We just pay with the Jewel here. Yay! All right, beat the villain of the format, and we're 3-1. So positive record ensured. Let's see if we can make it a 4-1 or a 3-2. Alrighty, on the play for the final round. Okay, let's try this. This kind of folds in the face of a counter spell, but this Goldfish is on turn 2. Oh no, opponent mulliganing to 5 again. Wonder if we're up against the same opponent. Well, it's not the same opponent, but the same deck as we just beat. I have no outs towards finding a force of will here, unless I draw it on my. Oh no, never mind. I'm on the play. Okay, and we make our path towards Coveted Jewel here. Turn 1 Grim Monolith, and that's in. Plenty of stuff we don't want to see here, including Thoughtseize, Wasteland, and opponent having counterplay. But Windswept Heath. Show me a non-blue dual and a green 1-drop, and I'll be in heaven. Okay, that's not what I asked. What is this? Optimistic Scavenger. Interesting. Okay. Well, that is a card that you have. I am risking things here. Like if I go City of Traders, tap Monolith, and the opponent has Force of Will, then I'm kind of losing 3 cards to their 2. Because I'll be losing the City of Traders. I guess I'll lose that anyways. But then the Grim Monolith is tapped, which is also kind of means that it's gone, at least for the time being. But this is, I think, the play to make because of our opponent's weakness from a mull to 5 and the cards in our hand. They did have the Force. Okay. And a Daze, so I played around the Daze, I guess, by not playing the island. But yeah, that was tough. I don't think my best draw becomes like the One Ring, maybe. All right, we get the turn. We get Force. Well, I think I'm actually gonna do something that doesn't feel too good here, but I am actually going to sacrifice another City of Traders to untap my Grim Monolith here. That gives us 6 mana next turn in case we draw a Jewel, or like a Lotus Petal gives us Transmute Artifact and getting the Jewel, though that might be a bit too risky. Okay, opponent puts away Island off of the Surveil. Really hoping not to get Wastelanded. I am just, this seems to be like a blue-white tempo deck with Daze and Force and stuff, but then it has this, and enchantment control enters, or you, and whenever you fully unlock a room. And what is this? Curious Obsession. Gets +1/+1. Whenever this deals combat, you may draw a card. Okay, so this is sort of an Auras deck, and now they get to attack me for 3 and draw a card. That's pretty sweet. Can I draw a Lotus Petal one time? Or a Coveted Jewel? Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, no. I was gonna say I could like be looking to play out my lands here, but then I lose the city. I'm not sure that might still be correct, but and now they're just undoing. They just undid their mulligan. Slippery Bogle. Okay, so this is like a modern deck that's been transposed to Legacy. That's cool. So what am I drawing to here? I'm just wondering if I'm supposed to play out my lands here, my islands. No, I'm gonna hang on to them in case I draw like Jewel or Lotus Petal. I guess another Grim Monolith also would be good. I am running out of time though. What does this do? When this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent controls. I think I have to counter this, or I will lose my Grim Monolith. And here they come. So I think this is my last draw step, effectively. Oh, they found Wasteland. Damn. Okay. I'll keep playing in case I draw the One Ring here, but even then I don't think that's probably not going to be good enough. Yeah, alright, let's concede. So I'm going to treat this like it's a combo deck, or not a combo, a tempo deck, I mean. And I am going to pick up the defense grids here. And I think I'll get Chaos Defiler to answer something like, I don't know, Stony Silence. I'll board out the Force of Wills. And I think I'll board out a single stock up. Okay. Let's see if we can do better here. Nope, this is a mulligan. I will keep this and put away Otawara, I think. And I think I'll just lead on basic island. I don't think the 3 life to bolt this in later is going to be that big of a problem. And I'd rather not have wasteland matter if it doesn't have to, at least for the time being. Hey, there we go. All right, let's pass. Not loving this position because I'm pretty sure they have show and tell covered here. Well, they get days, so I think I'm just gonna take my 2 for 1 here. I mean, they kept a hand with 1 land, it's a wasteland, and all spells, so I'm guessing they have at least 1 pitch effect here. And opponent is forcing pitching Invisible Stalker, sure. And like having this land wastelanded is probably the best land for me to get wastelanded because it is just an island now. Since they just drew this, draw another show and tell. That's pretty good if I can find another land. But I mean, it is worrying. Like they are a white deck. I am really concerned about Stony Silence, and casting show and tell is going to give them the chance to put that in. But I still think it's the play. Okay, let's see if it is Stony Silence. Probably has to be. That was not Stony Silence. And we draw a bunch of stuff. And I think we cast copy artifact here. Copy the jewel. And then we can... Let's just copy it one more time so that we have enough to play with afterwards. Because I'm going to transmute for a Paradox Engine. So hopefully we don't draw the engine right now. Oh, we didn't. Alright, so we have 4 mana. We spend 2 to cast Transmute Artifact. We get rid of a Coveted Jewel. And we get Paradox Engine. And so we cast Lotus Petal. That untaps our 2 jewels. So now we basically have a gazillion mana. Alright, let's transmute for another jewel. I'm just going to float mana off of these 2 because I'm going to be sacking one of them. Opponent choosing to play it out here. I guess we play the One Ring and then just draw our deck. And I'm actually not going to show them the a defense grid here. I just would rather they didn't have it on their radar. And then even if they have something like a Mindbreak Trap, we can sink into Stupor the Mindbreak Trap. But then again, I guess they can replay it. Because Mindbreak Trap is the only card that gets us here. The only card whatsoever. But that would get us, though. I think, anyways. Fuck it. Let's, shoot, pardon my French here. Let's actually get the... Let's control a card here. Let's get the defense grid. We can cast a stock up here. Let's get defense grid. And I guess transmute. And let's tap some mana, draw some cards, live our best life here. Yeah, I will cast the grid. Like, I don't know that they wouldn't have cast the Mindbreak Trap yet if they didn't have it, but I think it's worth it to even that we're showing them that we have it to actually not lose to that corner case. There's a Metamorph, so that's fun. Okay, let's cast. I had a jewel somewhere there, and still no Emrakul. Okay, I'm not gonna bother keep tapping mana right now. Even though I could. There is Emrakul. I guess Otawara. Any order, and let's cast Emrakul. And tear through the Aeons. Okay, and that drew the concession. All right, so final game on the draw. I still, I'm happy with my decision to leave out the Lodestone Golems. Feels like all of their like spells are like 1 mana, 2 mana at most. Yes, let's do that. I'm gonna keep this hand. On the face of it, it might look a little bit sus, but this is a turn one show and tell showing in the ring. Um, and if that gets countered, we then just need another soul land or another blue producing land, and we will have another show and tell or the ring. So yet again, I think my biggest concern here is Wasteland. Getting dazed here would kind of suck, but I still like jamming. All right, opponent fetches. They fetch a Meticulous Archive. That's interesting. So no consigned memory, that is. Maybe it means days, because they want some equity there. Ethereal Armor. Force of Will. So that was a 2 for 2. No Wasteland by the looks of it. Yeah, okay. Can I draw land? No. And it's the clown zone. We're both just passing here. Okay, land, please. Nope. All right, pass. Yeah, this can sometimes happen when you play a deck with no manipulation. Okay, they found a second land. Again, Stony Silence, my biggest concern here. Dampening Sphere. That's also not great, but oh, come on, deck. Okay, pass. Let's get rid of one of these one rings. Invisible Stalker, okay. Can we draw land? Ever? What's the bin here? Like, Chaos Defiler is one of the ways I can get rid of this, but that would take a long time with this in my hand and on my deck, so I'm going to get rid of it. I guess Show and Tell, the Chaos Defiler, was a line I just missed. And they get their little curiosity thing going here. I think they're going to win because my deck has not been cooperating and they have a very good disruption piece here. Any land, please. Nope. Okay. We pass. Let's get rid of stock up, I guess. Yep. They get to do the modern thing here. And I am taking a bunch of damage here. And they're just drawing cards, living their best life. Okay. So this doesn't make lands lose their abilities. It just means they only produce one color less instead of two. I guess I still play this in case I draw another land that makes blue mana and then I can show and tell. But I'm pretty sure it will be too late by then. And this can't be blocked anyway, so now I think I am drawing dead. Like show and tell, like last turn if I could have shown told Emrakul, but that's not the case anymore. All right, GG's opponent. All right, well, a 3-2 record, so positive record, and this for my first sort of competitive outing with this deck, I think it went pretty well. I was pretty happy to beat the blue red tempo deck at least once. We went 1-1 against that deck. Then we beat Wizards and we beat Oops All Spells, which is always a pleasure. And then we lost to the modern Bogles deck, which can happen. I mean, that seems like not the most pleasant matchup because they have Wastelands. Like they're basically a tempo deck, but they also get like white cards such as like I don't know what it might be, but you know, Deafening Silence, Stony Silence. We didn't see any of those cards. They had Dampening Sphere instead, but like it could have been any one of those. But I'm pretty sure like it's not also not like a terrible matchup. And honestly, this deck feels super duper fun and strong. It is a little bit weird for a player like myself who basically always plays with the Cantrip Cartel of at least Ponder and Brainstorm to not have any deck manipulation. It does ask some different questions of you in terms of mulligan decisions and stuff like that, where you really have to, like, first of all, you have to realize that you like what happened this last game can really happen where keeping one landers is pretty risky. And you don't have either like street wraiths or baubles. You don't have any way to like churn through your deck. So the top of your deck is the top of your deck in a lot of aspects here. But the power level is just so gross in this deck. What it does, you got to see it a few times, where like basically Coveted Jewel is just a ridiculous magic card, and yeah, all these, like, it's so funny that for like, I want to say like more than a decade, maybe even decades in plural, copy artifact and transmute artifact were just like commander cards at most, and didn't see any competitive play in Legacy. And then like Tony Scaponi is the person I know who sort of pioneered this deck. If other people had stock in that, I don't want to leave anyone out, but anyways, the Tony and the gang kind of innovated, I think, on this deck, and like, this is not new, by the way. This is like at least, like, I want to say 1 or 2 years old. I found some videos back in the Vexing Bauble era where this deck was also seeing play. I don't know how good it is. I don't know how well positioned it is. It does struggle, I think, versus the Cardinal Rod and those types of effects. So Stony Silence, Collector Roof, but it does have play against those because you play bounce lands, you have the Chaos Defiler in the sideboard, and I think there are also just like a lot of ways you can build this deck. You can build a version that has like maybe keys and Urza's Saga. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely want to make some more content with this deck in the future. I think probably my next video is going to be Doomsday, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have had a nice holiday season, and you aren't struggling too much, getting back into the grind of things at work. And yeah, that's it for me today. Happy Friday. I'll be back with some more Legacy.